Okay, next morning and good evening, everyone. Oh, Max is always morning. Okay, so I am happy to be with you all again and sharing with you. And tonight's topic is glutathione, a powerful detoxification molecule. You might not know. Some of you know glutathione inside out by now, but some of you may not know about glutathione. So it'll be a revision for many and new stuff for those who are listening to us for the first time. Okay, so to know the detox power of glutathione, we need to know first what is glutathione, and then we shall discover what are the major functions of glutathione, and then how glutathione protects and detoxifies the cell, and then what happens to our glutathione levels as we age, and how to efficiently boost glutathione, and then I will summarize. You see, glutathione is often written as GSH. That's actually the chemical short form of the active form of glutathione, active or reduced form of glutathione. The inactive or the oxidized form is GSSG, right? But most of the time we'll be writing GSH. Okay, and this is the glutathione molecule. So the GSH now refers to the molecule, and the G is the bulk of the molecule inside the blue box. The SH refers to that one single sulfur molecule and sulfur atom and one hydrogen atom that makes SH. It's called the thiol or sulfihydryl group. So the G is all the rest. So there must be special with that one single sulfur atom with the hydrogen atom attached to it for it to be specially mentioned, whereas the rest is all just G. Okay, so that's the part that gives glutathione its versatility, but that's also the part that gives glutathione, or that makes glutathione fragile. When we handle glutathione, the IV form of glutathione, we can actually smell the sulfur. You smell the sulfur because it's very fragile, so it starts evaporating also. Okay. So glutathione is a tripeptide that is made of 3 amino acids, which are glutamic acid. So glutamic acid is on the left, cysteine in the center, and glycine, which means it is cysteine that has the thiol or sulfihydryl group. And that explains why cysteine itself is a fragile amino acid. So what are the major functions of glutathione? Right? For many decades, it has been known as the most important intracellular antioxidant. That's why it has been called the master antioxidant. And later on, was discovered that it is also a powerful and versatile anti-inflammatory agent, a powerful immune booster and modulator, and a powerful and versatile detoxifying agent. You can also call it the master detoxifier for the body. And now we also have to add its function as a very versatile signaling molecule to many cell systems. So many people are just getting familiar with this concept of signaling molecule. Okay, but tonight, we shall focus just on its detoxifying activity. Okay, just to remind that apart from these 5 major functions, glutathione has hundreds of other functions. And these functions are so crucial to protect all cells, such that deficiency of glutathione will cause oxidative stress, inflammation, toxicity, and immune problems that may progress to a whole variety of tissue and organ dysfunction and a whole range of diseases. Okay, so now before we try to understand how glutathione works to detoxify the body, it helps to understand, to revise on the basic cell structure, because this is where glutathione works. right? It works mostly inside the cells, protecting the cells and protecting the components of the cells from toxins, from free radicals, and also from infection. Okay, so you don't have to know everything that's written there, but those of you who study physiology, study biology, will be familiar with this, right? So just at least know that the cell covering is called the cell membrane, right? And then inside there are organelles, all right? You have our body, we have organs. So the cell itself is like one whole complete body. Inside the cell, there are many organelles. And for tonight's purpose, you just need to know the mitochondria, right? The bacteria-looking structure, mitochondria. In fact, according to current scientific thinking, the mitochondria actually bacteria that come in and have become part of our cells. That is the current understanding. Then, of course, there's a nucleus where our chromosomes and the chromosomes carry our genes, which are made of DNA. Right? There are many other structures inside the cell, and they're all floating in what is called the cytosol or the cytoplasm. Okay, so let's see how glutathione as an antioxidant and detoxifier protects the cells. Now we go into the different components of the cells. Well, the cell membrane contains many receptors necessary for cell function and for assimilating nutrients. For example, cell membrane has insulin receptors and other receptors, hormone receptors, so many receptors on the surface. And all these need to be protected. They need to be in the pristine conditions to perform their function as receptors. Then inside the membrane, the cytoplasm, there are many organelles doing thousands of metabolic activities, all need to be protected. And in particular, the mitochondria, where energy is produced. Without energy, nothing works. Okay, so mitochondria is the energy production factory. And in fact, mitochondria is so important, it has its own DNA. Okay. Right. And then, of course, the nucleus, which carries our chromosomes, and gene damage here, damage to the genes, which is part of the chromosome, and leads to mutations, accelerated aging, and cancers. So all these structures need to be protected. And one of the major things that cause damage are free radicals. So glutathione, as the most important, the most powerful antioxidant inside the cell, does its work there. And in fact, many of the toxins are free radicals. Okay. Okay, just to show you some of the receptors at the cell membrane. Okay, so how it's not just as simple as the cell absorbs whatever passes near it. Excuse me. So everything has to go through all these receptors or channels. For example, the insulin receptors, okay? The cells, in particular the muscle cells, have plenty of insulin receptors because they need plenty of glucose, and glucose can only enter the cells after the insulin receptors receives instructions from the insulin. Okay, and that initiates the signals to open up the channels that allow the glucose to come in. So in diabetes type 2, it is the insulin receptors that are damaged. Okay, so that's why diabetes type 2 starts with what is called insulin resistance. I mean, the cells seem to resist the instructions of insulin, but actually the problem is that the receptors on the cells are not functioning well. For type 1 diabetes, it is a lack of insulin. That's different, totally different. Type 2, it is a problem with the insulin receptors. By the way, even the COVID-19 virus, the SARS-2, SARS-CoV-2, SARS-CoV-2, just easier to say COVID-19 virus. Okay. The virus gains entry via ACE2 receptors, and ACE2 receptors are actually involved in blood pressure regulation, and it's present in many tissues. But somehow the virus used that receptor, tricks the body to gain entry. So viral entry goes inside the cell, and then the other components of the cell come into play, and that trick our cell to go into production, replicating the viral components. At the same time, the normal function of the ACE2 receptor is blocked, occupied by the viral component. What about glutathione as an anti-inflammatory agent? Glutathione reduces inflammation directly and also indirectly by inducing the production of what are called anti-inflammatory cytokines. What is inflammation? Inflammation in the micro level is the chemical and cellular response to injury to initiate repair. But at the macro level, you slap someone, you see, well, the person will feel pain, and there's redness, there's swelling. The classic three signs of inflammation: pain, redness, swelling. But at the micro level, there you can see the chemicals and the cells are converging at the place. The purpose is to initiate repair. And these injuries may be caused by toxins, free radicals, infections, or can be mechanical injury. But chronic and excessive inflammation can cause problems. Example, chronic inflammation of the coronary artery endothelium starts the process of atherosclerosis. Okay, so this can explain why some people with high cholesterol do not end up with atherosclerosis, but whereas some people with lower cholesterol do end up with atherosclerosis. And the reason is that the one with the lower cholesterol level has high level of inflammation, which means the coronary arteries are already inflamed and damaged. So it's very easy for cholesterol to get stuck, to start accumulating there and start the process of atherosclerosis. Whereas the person with a higher cholesterol level that has very low levels of inflammation, the arterial walls are nice and clean, no damage, no inflammation, so the cholesterol just passes through happily. Another example is the excessive inflammation due to the pro-inflammatory cytokine storm that causes death in most of the COVID-19 cases. Right? They literally drown in their own secretions. They are a response to this cytokine storm. So inflammation is now recognized as the starting point for diseases and for aging, and inflammation is linked to all the chronic diseases. So where does free radicals come in now? Because in the past, 30 years ago, it was free radicals at the cause of all this. Then move on to inflammation, right? It's not that if free radicals have now become less important. Right now, we realize that free radicals is just a major cause of inflammation. It's still inflammation. Because inflammation, then you can also have infections, yeah, causing it. Now we zoom into glutathione as a detoxifier. Toxins interferes with many cellular functions, cause damage, and even cell death. And they can damage just like free radicals do, or maybe even worse. Now, if the damage is extensive, the entire organ can be damaged and fail. The most vulnerable organs are the liver and kidneys because most of the detoxification are done in these organs. The liver processes many nutrients and chemicals that enter the body, and the kidneys have to excrete the toxins and all the drugs we take. Many are toxic in the long term, example, painkillers, all right, drugs for gout, drugs for arthritis. And I've seen many patients who have damaged kidneys because of long-term consumption of anti-arthritic and anti-gout drugs. So glutathione is the main rescuer of our organs from these toxins. Okay, and let's see how toxic we are. We go at the source, all right, meaning we look at when we were born, right? So this was a study way back 17 years ago, reported 17 years ago in USA, where they just took blood from 10 newborn babies, and between the 10 newborn babies, they discovered there were 287 different types of toxins in the cord blood of the newborn babies from the umbilical cord. Okay, of these, 180 were known to cause cancer, 208 known to cause birth defects or abnormal development in animal tests, 217 toxic to the brain and nervous system. Okay, so if babies have that much toxin, what hope do we have? Multiply by 10. Okay, now comes how glutathione detoxifies. It does this in two steps. In the phase one, it's called phase one, is it combines with the toxins and neutralizes them. So even if the toxin remains in the body, but if it's already neutralized, that means it is harmless. But the second way is it combines with the toxins and renders them water soluble. Okay, the fact that these toxins remain in the body for a long time is because most of them are non-water soluble. Because if they're water soluble, they've been easily been excreted a long time ago through the urine especially, but also maybe through sweat and other fluids which are mostly water. But many of them are not water soluble, so they remain in the body. So what glutathione does is to combine with them and make them water soluble. And now then they can be dislodged and then can be excreted. The problem is if they are not neutralized, right, by combining with the glutathione, they may be neutralized as well. But if they're not neutralized, just rendered water soluble, then after being dislodged from wherever they are, then before they get to the exit point, they will be circulating in the system first, and they may cause symptoms. So this understanding this will help you understand why some of us taking glutathione booster supplements for the first time get symptoms, what we call detox reaction, some call healing crisis. But a scientific explanation will probably be that the toxins are now circulating before, right, being excreted, because they have to get either to the liver or wherever they are to be detoxified, or to the kidneys, and then to be excreted to liver, can be excreted to through the blood. Okay, so glutathione and the glutathione enzymes work together, and then you have the toxic chemicals, drugs, heavy metals, even bacterial carcinogens. Okay, combine, and then glutathione complex, now water soluble, and then excretion to the kidney and the liver. Okay. So what organs are protected by glutathione? You name it, it is protected by glutathione. It is a main protector of the brain, of the eyes. Without enough glutathione, we'll all be blind. Okay, of the ears, of the thyroid, of the esophagus, of the heart. Esophagus, many people suffer from reflux disease, and reflux disease is considered as a precancerous condition, right? Glutathione, having sufficient glutathione can help prevent the progress of that condition. Right? The main protector of the heart, of the lungs, okay, esophagus again, so important, intestines, the liver, kidneys and bladder, ovaries and testes, muscles, joints, skin, pancreas, spleen, and any organ I miss, still protected by glutathione. Okay, all organs are protected by glutathione. Okay, the unhappy part is that we only have sufficient glutathione to protect all our organs sufficiently when we were young, up to about age 20. After that, unfortunately, because we're all programmed to degenerate as we age and then die, our glutathione levels start coming down. And the main reason is the decline in production. Okay, so the decline is about 10 to 15% for every decade, which means by 40, you are 20 to 30% down. By 60, you are 40 to 60% down. That means then you will have problems with oxidative stress, inflammation, poor immunity, poor detox capability, and many other organ and systemic dysfunctions. And if your life includes many of these features, then your rate of decline is not with average, but even worse. It's much faster than the average. Then in the chart on the left that I give, if it's 10 to 15% per decade, then wherever is your age, so your range is there. If you have been healthy, then you still have the higher end of the range, but you've not been healthy, or if your lifestyle includes many of the things in the previous slide, then you can expect you to be on the lower end. Okay, you can see an 80-year-old, an unhealthy 80-year-old only has 10% of the level when he or she was at 20. So, you know, how can the body cope with all the stresses? And we now know that most diseases are associated with glutathione depletion. Studies after studies have shown that a decrease in glutathione is a risk factor for chronic diseases that may be used to monitor the severity and progress of the diseases. Okay, it's not only decrease in glutathione is a risk factor, but the level of glutathione can predict the severity and the progress and the prognosis of the disease. Okay, you name any disease, most probably, right, glutathione is involved in trying to protect you or trying to help you recover from that disease. Okay, so knowing that glutathione is so important, right? And for tonight's topic is for detox, but we also know it's important for many other functions, and that after age 20, it declines quite fast, and by the time you are 40 already, you are 20 to 30% deficit. So how to increase glutathione? Okay, plants and animals also have glutathione to protect themselves. So we should expect if we eat either plants or animal products, people expected to increase their glutathione through that, but unfortunately that does not happen because glutathione is a fragile molecule. When we take glutathione from food, it just gets digested. So the way to increase glutathione is to take supplements which contain the glutathione precursors, not supplements that contain glutathione, because just like the glutathione in food, glutathione in supplements also get digested. Remember, the correct way, the logical way to increase your glutathione is to take glutathione precursors, which are the building blocks of glutathione, so that your body, your cells can manufacture the glutathione. And the most important precursor is cysteine. Remember, there are three precursors: glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine. But glutamic acid and glycine are quite abundantly available in our diet, and both of them are much more stable than cysteine. So cysteine, there are two problems with cysteine. Number one, it is the least available of the three in our diet, and also it is fragile. So the challenge is to provide cysteine in a stable form, and the best form of stabilized cysteine available now is ribosine. Okay, so what is ribosine? Ribosine is a patented nutrient, a product of the research of this company, Max International. It is actually D-ribose L-cysteine, shortened to ribocysteine, and trademarked as ribosine. Okay, you're clear of the three different things? Okay, D-ribose L-cysteine, ribocysteine, and ribosine. And this molecule then provides cysteine in a stable form that can now withstand the stomach acid, and then get absorbed, and then can be utilized by our cells to make glutathione. Now, the brilliant thing about this molecule is that the component used to stabilize cysteine is a simple sugar called ribose. And ribose is needed for ATP production. ATP is the energy carrying molecule, and ATP is needed for many cellular activities, including glutathione synthesis. Right? So the energy required to make glutathione with now the extra cysteine that you have, right, is now provided by the ribose, which was used to stabilize cysteine. Right? So that is the brilliance of this molecule. ATP is needed mostly in the heart and muscles where energy is consumed most. Ribose is also a component of RNA and other molecules. So because of this unique thing, ribosine is 300% better than the second best precursor, which is NAC or N-acetylcysteine. Okay, and this explains why ribosine is the most efficient glutathione precursor, as explained. Right, you have cysteine, okay, and then you have ribose. Right, so the ribose will give you more ATP. Then cysteine go into the synthesis of glutathione. So that's cysteine there. Right, so in the first part, you have glutamic acid, right? Then it's joined with cysteine with this help of this enzyme called glutamyl cysteine synthetase. You can see ATP is required there. Okay. Right, so done. Those two combined, and the next step is with the help of another enzyme called glutathione synthetase. Then that molecule that was formed from glutamic acid and cysteine, which is called gamma-glutamyl cysteine, then is now joined to glycine to form glutathione. And ATP again is required. Okay, so you can see the synergy of these two components. Ribose is used to stabilize cysteine, but ribose provides the ATP to power the synthesis. Then you get glutathione. Okay, and this results in it being 300% better than the second best. Okay, so in comparison, whey protein also has cysteine, and it can also boost your glutathione levels. Other studies had shown that NAC is 8 times more potent than whey protein. Right? And our studies show that ribosine is 3 times more potent than NAC, which means, weight for weight, ribosine is 24 times more potent than whey protein in boosting glutathione. So we have 2 products that are based on ribosine. This is Max1, which is 100% ribosine. And then we have Cellgevity, which is ribosine with 12 other ingredients, which also help boost glutathione production and glutathione function. Plus, they also have many other health benefits, including anti-aging benefits that make Cellgevity an anti-aging powerhouse. And in the recommended doses, as far as ribosine is concerned, the recommended dose in Max1 is the same as the recommended dose in Cellgevity, right? In terms of the milligrams. Even though you take 2 capsules of Max1 per day, right? You have 250 milligrams of ribosine, but you have to take 4 capsules of Cellgevity a day to have the same 250 milligrams. You need the 4 capsules for Cellgevity because it has to also accommodate the 12 other ingredients. In summary, glutathione is a tripeptide with many important functions essential for life, good health, and longevity. And through its antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and detox actions, it protects the cells from damage in all parts of the cell: cell membrane, cytoplasm, mitochondria, and the chromosomes. Its detoxifying power is twofold: by neutralizing toxins and making the toxins water-soluble for easy excretion. Many toxins are free radicals, and glutathione is the most potent antioxidant protecting cells from oxidative damage. Damage from toxins cause inflammatory response, which, if chronic or excessive, may cause further damage. Glutathione is a potent anti-inflammatory agent that can mitigate this. So, two ways. Not only it blocks the toxins, right? And even if it fails to totally block the toxins, the inflammation caused by toxins, it can still block that blood. Glutathione is produced by our body, but the production declines rapidly after age 20, and this predisposes the body to oxidative stress, excess inflammation, toxicity, infections, autoimmunity, accelerated aging, diseases, and cancers. And we can boost and restore glutathione to healthy levels. The best way is to take glutathione precursors. And the most efficient precursor available today is ribocysteine, trademarked as ribosine, which is the main ingredient in Max1 and Cellgevity. Thank you, and thank you.